Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this interesting symposium. It's a great pleasure to be here. I decided to send the presentation because in Spain is not the best time, especially for when you have kids. Well, today I will talk a little bit about some results that are coming up from a project called Fire Smart, which I'm coordinating with my colleagues in Spain and Portugal. I will present some results, but I will focus more on how to use fire to enhance rewilding in mountain abandoned landscapes. Our study area is located in southern Europe and in the Iberian Peninsula, and the Mediterranean regions are paradigmatic examples of human and fire-modulated landscapes. The problem here with the wildfires, as in many other regions of the world, is that we have an increasing number of large and high-intensity fires, and firefighters cannot stop that kind of fires, also known mega fires. This is because, as you know very well, to climate warming. In the Mediterranean basin, we expect warmer and drier climate conditions, and also more frequent climate extreme events. At the regional and local scale, especially in marginal mountain areas in southern Europe, we have the rural and abandoned processes that have taken place since the last century, over the last 50, 60 years ago, due to the rural exodus. This trend is increased fuel accumulation and continuity, creating more flammable landscapes. It is also helped indirectly by the fire suppression policies, which are based on stopping all fires as soon as possible, leading to a kind of firefighting trap, because it's contributing to have more fuel and more flammable landscapes. So this is the context, and well, the Fire Smart project is funded by the Portuguese government. It was a specific call in 2018 after the mega fires of 2016, where more than 100 people in Portugal. And the main, well, this project aims to reduce the wildfire damage, but ensuring biodiversity conservation and delivery of different ecosystem services. So we are trying to integrate both the ecological and the socioeconomic dimension of the wildfire problem. The concept of the Fire Smart is not really new, but it can define as a kind of integrated approach based on different field conversions and treatments to reduce the impact of wildfires, but at the same time maximizing the ecological benefits of fires. So it has emerged as a promising option to incorporate the role of fire as a ecological process into a strategic planning to try to coexist with wildfires in a more sustainable way. Here I bring this nice image, which is in fact is actually from the last report of the WWF in Spain, because they use some of our studies to support recommendations in the last report. That's why the name of these scenarios are in Spanish, but I will explain it. So this is basically the type of scenarios that we are trying to implement in our project. So we design different scenarios, and finally, we try to implement those scenarios in a modeling platform to supported by simulations. The business as usual scenario is the land abandonment trend. So here we represent it with more forests, more shrubland, more flammable landscape. Then we design alternative scenarios, one based on European policy promoting agricultural areas in our region. These areas are related with extensive agricultural and livestock activities and are very rich in terms of biodiversity. So, but they are also known as high native value farmlands, especially here in Europe. Then we also envisage a Fire Smart strategy with a conversion from the fast-growing trees plantations, mostly pinus and eucalyptus plantations here in our region, to oak native forests, which are more fire resistant. And finally, we consider a combination of both scenarios, and then we implement in our models. So we try to answer how different land use and fire suppression scenarios can contribute to wildfire mitigation, but at the same time, what is the effect on biodiversity of different ecosystem services? We try to identify what is the best scenario, the best solution, and also consider what happens if the best option is not viable. So we finally try to answer how this land abandonment trend could be managed with fire to enhance the conservation and to reduce the negative impacts of land abandonment processes. In the biosphere reserve, Jerez is one of our study areas, and is located between Spain and Portugal. It's the typical mountain landscape in between Eurosiberian. Is a transitional area between the Mediterranean and Eurosiberian region, largely affected by land abandonment processes and many fires every year. Because of this, also the historical use of fire by the local communities for pastures and so on. So in the first study that we published last year, we designed these scenarios, the business as usual, high native value farmland, fire smart, and the combination of both, and we implement those scenarios, management scenarios, in our modeling platform. So the model is called Remains, is implemented in Celis. Celis is a landscape simulator. So this model is able to simulate the process related with fire ignition, spread, and extinction. We have a couple of fire suppression strategies, and also considering or combining this information with a land use demand allocation model, which allows us to incorporate the land use scenarios. So the conversion from one land cover type to another. Our simulations support the implementation of high native value farmlands on the landscape as the best option. So here we can see the business as usual, and we can see that the burn area that is expected under this scenario is much larger than it's larger than the historical records. The fire smart strategy by itself is not enough to have an effect on the fire regime. So the best option is the increasing high native value farmland systems by along or in combination with fire smart strategies, which are represented by the red color. So here we have the best options: high native value farmland. The larger the area of cropland and agricultural areas, the larger is the suppressed area. And makes sense because these open areas really continue to the landscape and provide opportunities to firefighters to stop the fires. But what happened in terms of biodiversity or other ecosystem services? According to our models, and here we model more than 100 vertebrate species that are breeding in our region, including birds, reptiles, amphibians. What we found is that, again, the high native value farmlands scenario and the combination with fire smart strategy is the best option in terms of habitat availability for the next years within and outside the protected areas of this transboundary region. The only exception is some endemic species within the protected area, which are benefited by land abandonment processes, mostly amphibians and some forest dwelling species. However, in terms of carbon sequestration, which is related with climate mitigation services, we found that our models support the implementation of fire smart strategies as the best option, followed by the business as usual. These are the best options in terms of carbon storage. However, the high native value farmland system, together with the fire smart strategies, are also quite good. Allow us to keep these services over time. So the problem is that the real implementation on the ground of these European policies, agricultural policies, is failing. In fact, the extension of agriculture is decreasing and also increasing high intensity agriculture in other regions. So in marginal mountain areas, which are no longer viable from a socioeconomic point of view, the implementation of these high native value farmlands is being a bit difficult. So that's why we ask what happened, okay, if we consider rewilding as an opportunity, because there are Obviously, there are benefits associated with this process, the forest restoration. Here we understand rewilding as a passive or ecological rewilding. This is the ecological processes without human intervention to restore ecosystems. It was found to be good for biodiversity conservation. We also found that it was good for carbon sequestration. But the problem is that there are potential increase in the wildfire risk and also a loss of open habitat species. Many of them are endangered species in associated with farms in Europe. So here we consider in this next study, we also consider these two land use scenarios, contrasting scenarios, the rewilding created dominated by land abandoned processes, and the high native value farmland scenario mimicking European and rural policies. We're trying to keep this extensive agricultural and livestock activities. But then we also consider 3 levels of fire suppression effectiveness. So we have a scenario of letting fires burn, we relax fire suppression, then we mimic the current fire suppression in another scenario with the current capacity, and then we also consider the other scenario with high fire suppression levels, where the firefighters will be able to stop almost all fires under any situation. So we combine the land use scenario with the fire suppression policies, and we finally got 6 scenarios. We apply the same modeling framework for the same species, and we analyze the effects on fire regime and biodiversity. What we found is, again, that around 30,000 hectares of additional suppressed area in comparison with the rewilding scenarios. Here we can see larger opportunities and the higher native value farmland scenario with low fire suppression, because we have more fires, open spaces, and habitat. This opportunistic strategy. In terms of biodiversity, the best scenario is the high native value farmland, because 70% of the species could be favored by this strategy. But also we have around 20 species that will be benefit from rewilding and land abandonment processes, which is especially interesting because many of them are endangered and endemic species. Then we have around 30% of the species that will be benefit from the open habitats created by fire. Only 15 species that will be positively affected by high levels of fire suppression. So as an optimal scenario, we'll have the high native value farmlands with high levels of fire suppression. But in this scenario, we should be very careful in terms of strategic planning to avoid extreme fire events from the firefighting trap efforts. As alternative scenario, we could propose a rewilding modulated by fire as a potential native resolution when agricultural policies fail. So we can control the effects on unplanned fires, reinforce strategic prescribed burning, or in this context of land abandonment to offset in some way the negative effects of rewilding. Of course, probably the best option would be analyze or try to combine the implementation of both strategies, rewilding in the most marginal areas and in the more productive and lowland areas would be more feasible implementation of these high native value farmland systems. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you also to other institutions that are in the project. Here you can see the website, the social media, and also a link to a very nice video where animation that we made to help disseminate the results. And I really invite you to see the video.